we have 6?
Yeah, you just Sim Harper Angels down there.
Yeah. Okay, we have quorum, and it's right at 12 o'clock, so we'll have a few more members walking in as we get going. Here comes Senator Williams. So we've got Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Byrd, Senator Harper Angel, Senator Mays Bledsoe, Senator McDaniel, Senator Storm, Senator Thayer, Senator Wheeler, Senator Williams, Senator Nemus,
Present.
Senator Mills.
I'm here, and we have a quorum. We're duly constituted to do business. We have a few things on the agenda. Just as part of an announcement, Senate Bill 246 will be passing over that bill today. So we have 5 bills on our agenda. First item that we're going to take up is House Bill 236, an act related to fiduciary duties owned by state-administered retirement systems. We have is Representative Sharp here? Yeah. Okay. I thought I saw him here. Let me text him. Yeah, let's hold off just a second on you guys and let you go second. We'll do another. I believe he's in another committee. If you don't mind texting him, or that'd be great. That'd be perfect. Okay, we'll start with Senator Turner's bill, which is Senate Bill 148. Senator Turner. Senator Turner has a committee sub on this bill. Could I have a motion to accept the committee sub? We have a motion and a second on the committee sub. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, Senator Turner, you're
Thank you, Mr.
before us
Chairman.
with the committee sub.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Turner from Harlan. Initially, this bill was drafted with some language that was given direction to the cabinets to direct certain people to actually go back inside the facilities they worked and go back to work after the thing got filed and was discussed. It was my understanding that a number of them have been able to, some federal change law that helped. And the bill now is in the form of amendment, which directs that during this interim time period that the Legislative Research Commission is directed to establish a government teleworking task force to investigate and make certain findings in regard to how the on-site presence of employees can be reduced, in-person work hours, in-person staffing, and it's got directions about being proposed by both bodies, the House and the Senate.
Very good.
That's pretty much what it is.
Very good. Senator Thayer has a comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Turner, I really appreciate you bringing this bill, and I understand the committee sub basically establishes a task force, but I would have voted for your original bill, because one of the biggest complaints I'm getting from constituents right now is Governor Beshear has not ordered state employees to go back to work past COVID. And we've got dozens of agencies that are required for people to be at their desks in the office every day, and constituents are calling across all levels of government, and they can't even get someone to answer the call. They can't get a call back. So I've got a message to them. The pandemic is over. Get back to work. Now, I understand there are jobs that in the 21st century can be done via telework. Now, I'm a little bit old-fashioned. I sort of like the old way where people actually show up for their job every day. So we'll probably study this summer, but I want to be on the record as I would have supported your original bill. But I do think we probably need to take a look at what jobs can be done via telework without reducing service to the taxpayers of Kentucky and which jobs require people to be in their offices every day from whenever it is till 4:30 to get the job done on behalf of the taxpayers who are funding this government. So I appreciate you bringing attention to this issue. And I don't think it's going to be the last word. So thank you, Senator, and thank you for indulging me, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. The purpose of the bill was to do just what you said. I was getting complaints all the time with 3-day workforce, not answering the phone, not being there on 2 days. Kids that actually needed some personal viewing of their medical problems being done, all telehealth. I can just keep going down the list, but I did check, and some of them did return to work. And I hope the cabinet takes what you said seriously and what I've done by filing this, because it'll be back next time with no mercy, and it'll proceed as we have to be directed right to this commission. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Senator Turner. I believe we had a motion from Senator McDaniel. Is there a second? We have a second from Senator Storm. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Byrd. Senator Harper Angel.
Explain my vote, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, you may.
Senator, I appreciate you bringing this task force. I actually filed the same bill. It needs to be studied, and I appreciate your efforts. Thank you. I vote aye.
Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel.
Aye.
Senator Nemus.
Aye.
Senator Storm.
Aye.
Senator Thayer.
Aye.
Senator Wheeler. Senator Williams.
Aye.
Senator Mills.
I vote aye. Senate Bill 148, as amended by the committee substitute, passes 8 to 0. And
Motion on a title
same
amendment.
shall pass to the Senate floor. We have a title amendment, so we have a motion on the title amendment from Senator Storm, second from Senator Thayer. All in favor on the title amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Title amendment is approved. Senator, thank you for your bill, and it shall move on to the Senate floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, to you and the members.
Thank you. Is Representative Dixon in? Is he? Oh, there he is. Representative Dixon, come on up. This is House Bill 188. Representative Dixon, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jonathan Dixon, District 11. I'll let my guest introduce himself.
I'm Richard Vinson, the Executive Vice President of Associated General Contractors of Kentucky.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. House Bill 188 grants certain public construction buyers the option to allow construction manager at risk and construction managers entities the opportunity to competitively bid on trades packages that should certain specific conditions that are met that are laid out in the bill before you. And they also currently in the state, when a subcontractor fails to perform under the statute right now, a CM may self-perform those duties. I will kind of turn it up. Well, before I do, I think we do have a committee sub.
Yes, you do. We have a motion on the committee sub. A motion from Senator Storm, second from Senator Wheeler.
Yep.
All in favor of the committee sub, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Committee subs before us.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. And in the committee sub, it is the exact identical bill. All it does is exempt transportation and add some language that the Finance Cabinet presented to us. But with that, I will turn it over to Richard and let him kind of explain how this pertains to construction industry and the real world here in our state.
Thank you, and thank you, Chairman Mills, members of the committee. We appreciate the opportunity to appear before you to support House Bill 188. As Representative Dixon just outlined, this bill really provides a pathway for construction managers at risk and construction management GCs to competitively bid on certain trades packages. The public owner must review and approve those packages, and specific conditions must be met. Currently, as was pointed out, this is allowable only in the circumstance that a subcontractor fails to perform. This is not a CM self-performance. It's certainly not a foreign concept. There are current Kentucky agencies that utilize the process right now. When looking at some of these provisions and safeguards that have been incorporated into the bill, we looked at the best practices of Indiana, Ohio, Tennessee, Virginia, took those lessons learned and those were used to ensure all the stakeholders were protected. It's also used in other processes to include lump sum, P3, other current Kentucky procurement processes and delivery methods. What's good about the bill? Number one, it's intended to drive competition, which will result in lower prices. This is particularly important when we're seeing packages that have no coverage or very, very little coverage. It enables that construction manager to look at the project and make decisions on the specific dynamics of that project in real time and can react. It's good for the owner and certainly good for the viability of the project. The flexibility that it provides also can supplement market or workforce shortages that I'm sure everyone is quite familiar with. Again, to provide adequate coverage on packages that just see little or no attention.
Very good. Any questions from the committee? Question from Senator McDaniel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What's the difference between the sub and the original?
The only difference between the sub and the original is that we exempted transportation. Transportation reached out and said that they thought that this may impact them a little bit in the transportation department, so they are exempt in the sub. And then the Finance Cabinet had some language that we added in addition from some of their requests. That is the only difference with the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Harper Angel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is there anything in the legislation that adversely affects organized labor?
No, I do not see that. We do have the carpenters have voiced that they're okay with this bill. So, I don't see that being an outcome at all.
Thank you.
Any other questions? A motion be in order on House Bill 18. We have a motion from Senator Thayer, a second from Senator Nemus. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Byrd. Senator Harper Angel. Senator Mays Bledsoe.
You may.
Thank you. I'll cast an eye, and I'm sorry I'm not sitting right there. I got real delayed earlier, so I'm a huge supporter of this bill. Really excited about its opportunity and appreciate your support.
Senator McDaniel. Senator Nemus.
Aye.
Senator Storm.
Aye.
Senator Thayer. Senator Wheeler. Senator Williams. Senator Mills.
I vote aye. House Bill 188, as amended by the committee sub, passes favorably 10-0, and same shall pass to the Senate floor. Is there a motion for consent? Okay. Senator Thayer.
I believe, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe Senator Mays Bledsoe wishes to carry this on the floor.
Okay, very good. We'll hold off on consent. And so the bill passes 10-0. And Representative Dixon, thank you so much for
Mr.
being
Chairman,
here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is House Bill 236, Treasurer's Office and Representative Sharp. To the floor. Representative Sharp, the floor is yours. If you want to introduce yourself and your guest.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Representative Scott Sharp from the 100th District, and I'll let my guests introduce themselves.
Allison Ball, Kentucky State Treasurer. Sure, Allison Ball, Kentucky State Treasurer, and I have with me my General Counsel, who's Brittany Warford.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We have been working on this bill a substantial amount of time during the session, and I want to thank the folks at the desk for all their hard work, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill started out last summer, at least with me it did. I was reading some articles and saw some news reports, and I started working on this. And it kind of led me to the AG's office, which led me over to the Treasury office. And this has to do with our public pension funds. Now, traditionally, our public pension funds were invested based on a maximum yield of return based on a risk tolerance. Well, recently there's been a development where these big investment companies like Vanguard and BlackRock and State Street are investing on something called an ESG score, which stands for environmental, social, and governance. And it's not based on maximum return. So with that, started to work on something that would codify it and make it so that all the investment companies that were taking care of our public pensions would have to invest based on a fiduciary return. With that, I'll let the treasurer go.
Well, that's an excellent summary, and I know that, Mr. Chairman, you're very well familiar with ESG and what this stands for. What I will just add is that once upon a time, pensions were always looked at. What kind of returns are you getting? Are you making sure people can retire by the time they reach the end of their work life? And there has been a move, as you've already heard, there's been a move to change from that and to invest based upon certain outcomes, social outcomes, ideological outcomes, and not on investment returns. So this would just clarify for all the pension programs that if you are investing, it's about making sure you get good returns. Your decisions have to be pecuniary based, and you can't use non-pecuniary reasons for your investments.
Very good. Okay, we have a motion from Senator Wheeler. Is there a second? I have a second from Senator Williams. Any other comments or concerns from the committee before us? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Berg.
Explain my no vote.
Yes, you may.
I've actually been doing a lot of reading, and in fact, Kentucky made the New York Times last week on this issue. I don't know if you all saw it. It was not really in our favor. I think that the future is going to require us to do a cost-benefit analysis on our returns. I think everything in medicine requires a cost-benefit analysis, and I think, honestly, everything in economics does as well. And there are costs to investments besides the rate of return that need to be calculated in the long-term gain. And how anybody can say that is not true, that's not fiscally responsible, well, I'll tell you, that's how you run your home. So I vote no and thank you.
Senator Harper Angel. No. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel. Senator Nemes.
Aye.
Senator Storm.
Aye.
Senator Thayer.
Aye.
Senator Wheeler.
Mr. Chairman, explain my aye vote.
Yes, you may.
Senator Berg makes a point, and I have seen the devastation of my communities, as has our state treasurer, as a result of these types of policies. We've seen people thrown out of work. We've seen people thrown into poverty. We've seen their pension funds, being essentially devastated by the fact that they're making decisions not on whether or not these folks can retire or have a secure future, but based on some policy that's either dictated out of Washington or sometimes the United Nations or or the New York Times. And this has been a very difficult thing for my region, as Scott Sharp that knows well. My grandfather held that House seat at one time, and when we had employers like AK Steel, we had Ashland Oil, we had a variety of good heavy industry employers that utilize fossil fuels that provided good paying jobs, and now they're not there, and these types of things are last year what has caused a lot of these places to close. So I think that our Commonwealth needs to stand with these people, and therefore I proudly cast an aye vote.
Senator Williams.
I'd like to explain my aye vote.
Yes, you may.
In this time where our pension folks are under inflationary pressures, our retirees are struggling to put every penny together, we need to ensure that our pension funds are returning every penny to those retirees, and they're not going to some speculative benefit. So I vote aye to make sure that these funds are managed solely for the return of the checks that our retirees get every month and depend upon them more and more.
Senator Mills.
I vote aye. House Bill 236 passes with favorable expression 8-2, and the same shall pass on to the Senate floor. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Mr.
Representative
Chair.
Sharp.
Thank you, committee.
You.
Next item is Senate Bill 153. Senator McDaniel. There is a committee stub, a substantial committee stub on this that Senator McDaniel will be explaining. Could we get a motion on the committee sub? Motion on sub from Senator Storm. Is there a second? I have a second from Senator Wheeler. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The committee sub is before you. Senator McDaniel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senate Bill
Member-
153.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Senate Bill 153, the Senate Committee Substitute, makes a series of changes to Chapter 18A of the Personnel System, and I will note that these changes were recommended by both the current administration as well as the previous administration. So it was interesting when we saw the letter from the Personnel Cabinet how there were certain things inside of the system that both recognized needed to be aligned. The most important changes are made deal with the appeal rights and procedures for state employees. The current statutory scheme has led to the Personnel Board being overrun with a voluminous amount of pending appeals due to the overly broad definition of penalization. This overly broad definition allows for appeals to be made to the Personnel Board for any minor grievance, leading to numerous appeals that go on for years, cost the employee thousands in attorney's fees, with the end result being that there is nothing gained by the employee. The bill eliminates the definition of penalization and specifically lists the actions that can be appealed to include dismissals, involuntary transfers, suspensions, discrimination, non-restoration after military leave, and other limited personnel actions to meet federal funding requirements as they pertain to merit systems. The bill also shortens the time period to file an appeal from 60 days down to 30 days and prioritizes appeals concerning dismissals of classified employees above all other appeals. This is meant to expedite the appeals process and prioritize the most pressing of the appeals. Some other items are that the bill requires the Personnel Cabinet perform a classification and compensation study at least once every 5 years. We felt it was important to ensure that we stayed competitive with the private sector and are able to hire and retain good employees. And I will note that is the only thing that you'll find in here that was not contained in both of the recommendations from the two administrations. We put into statute the language changes regarding layoffs and furloughs that we've been including in the biannual budget the last several years and repealed all current language in statute regarding the same. We reduced the number of days that the register must remain open from 10 down to 5 in order to allow agencies to fill positions faster. We allow agencies to remove candidates from consideration if they have demonstrated erratic, unsafe, or threatening behavior. This addition was recommended by the Personnel Cabinet as such instances have occurred in the past, and this change would aid the agency in removing the individual from consideration if they have exhibited these types of behaviors. It allows the Personnel Board elections to take place electronically and does away with the antiquated paper system. This money will save money and hopefully encourage more employees to participate in the process. And finally, we amend the definition of career employee to require they have at least 5 years of service in the merit position out of the required 16 years of state service to be considered a career employee and thus have reversion rights. Mr. Chairman, subject to any questions for the committee, I would ask for adoption of this measure.
Are there any questions for Senator McDaniel? Senator Berg has a question.
I'm sorry, sir. What are reversion rights?
So reversion rights refer to when folks leave a merit position into a non-merit position, and then they can go back into the merit system. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Any other questions? We have a motion from Senator Thayer, a second from Senator Bledsoe Mays. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Berg. Senator Harper Angel. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel.
Aye.
Senator Nemus.
Aye.
Senator Storm.
Aye.
Senator Thayer. Senator Wheeler. Senator Williams. Senator Mills.
I vote aye. Senate Bill 153 is amended by committee sub passes with favorable expression 10-0, and with this expression that the same shall pass on the Senate floor. Is there a motion for consent? Motion for consent from Senator Byrd. Is there a second?
Second.
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 Second from Senator Williams. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you so much. All right. The final item on our agenda is Senate Bill 263, Senator Wheeler. This is your bill. And while Senator Wheeler is coming up, I failed to make a statement on House Bill 236, the ESG bill that was previous before Senator McDaniel. This bill does not apply to participant-directed individual accounts plans established under KRS 161.567, which are optional retirement plans, as these are not assets of the retirement system. We believe that that's covered under the bill, but wanted to state that on the record for the future for that to be known. So, Senator Wheeler, the floor is yours on Senate Bill 263.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 263 is 163 is a result of a collaborative effort. I'm sorry, it is 263.
Yeah, 263.
As a result of a collaborative effort between members of the Rural Water Task Force, which met for 2 summers to come up with solutions to the replacement and repair of aging infrastructure in rural communities. We worked with the administration on this, as well as with input from Rural Water and other stakeholders. What it does, it provides a framework for consolidation and encouragement for consolidation on a voluntary basis of water systems in rural areas. As we all know from, we hear it all the time in state government, we talk about the benefits of economies of scale. And sometimes, I guess, local loyalties get in the way of good policy. I can think of one particular example. There's 3 municipal water systems in an area of eastern Kentucky that all have their own plant. It would be they all need to be replaced. It would be much better served by one larger plant, but apparently all the cities don't like how the other city's water tastes, and so that has got into some fights over things. So what this does, it provides some carrots in the form of funding if people will get into voluntary associations that will reduce costs for both the consumer and really for the taxpayer, because frankly we're going to have to give support to these rural water systems in order to make sure that clean drinking water is delivered to communities. So that's the basic parameters of the bill. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. But, it's really setting up the framework. We'll probably be back next year asking for some appropriations for the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority to implement. But, we want to set the framework up first so people can decide how to opt in and get these systems back in a way that are appropriately serving their communities.
Very good. Any questions for Senator Wheeler? Motion to be in order on Senate Bill 263. We have a motion from Senator Storm, second from Senator Williams. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Berg.
Explain my aye vote.
Yes, you may.
I vote aye. And I want to tell you, come to Jefferson County because everybody loves our water. It's the truth. It is the truth. It is considered one of the best in the country. And so maybe y'all can coalesce around whatever we do there.
Senator Harper Angel. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel.
Aye.
Senator Nemus.
Aye.
Senator Storm.
Explain my yes vote.
Yes, you may.
I'd like to thank the bill sponsor for bringing this bill. I have a lot of constituents in Rockcastle and Lincoln and Casey counties that have been have been advocating for this measure, so thank you for bringing this bill.
Senator Thayer. Aye. Senator Wheeler.
Aye, and maybe Senator Berg, it has to do with the good limestone formations that are used to make the good whiskey down there as well. Bourbon whiskey.
Senator Williams.
Explain my aye vote.
Yes, you may.
I appreciate the senator bringing us such a tasteful bill.
Senator Mills.
I vote aye. Senate Bill 263 passes with favorable expression 10-0. With the expression, the same shall pass on the Senate floor. Is there a motion for consent? We have a motion for consent, a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The bill is on consent. Ladies and gentlemen, that ends our agenda for today, and we will undoubtedly have more meetings in the next week or so of this committee. So with that, we are